Hello and welcome into the KE Report. Shad and Corey here, getting an update from AbraSilver Resource Corp. AbraSilver is traded on the TSX under the ticker ABRA and on the OTCQX under the ticker ABBRF. I'm joined today with the President and CEO, John Miniotis, and the Chief Geologist, Dave O'Connor, for AbraSilver Resource Corp. John, Dave, great to have you guys on the show as always. And John, this is a banger of a hole here to come out with at the Oculto East zone. This is a gold-rich hit, probably the best gold hit you've had to date, and really high grade. But it just shows that by hitting these gold values, you're still in the thick of it as you continue to expand to the northeast. So maybe walk us through the key takeaways from this hole.
Sounds great. So first off, yeah, thanks again for having us back on. Certainly very, very exciting for us to discuss sort of what's unquestionably an extremely impressive drill result. So as you mentioned there, I think hole 24, in fact, did encounter our best ever gold intercept on a grade thickness basis at anywhere in the Diablillos project. And this hole was made just beyond the eastern edge of the Oculto proposed pit. So very, very important hole for us. So the headline intercept here was 31 meters, grading 10 grams of gold in oxides, and that includes 6 meters of almost 42 grams per ton of gold in oxides as well. And what's, even more impressive, I think, is this hole is not only gold rich, but also encountered exceptional silver grades as well. So when you look at the same hole from about 216 meters downhole depth, we hit a very, very nice silver intercept, 13 meters of just over 300 grams per ton of silver in the same hole. So look, I think as a result, this really is sort of a bit of a game changer for us in terms of our focus. Oculto East now certainly gets upgraded as a major new high priority target for us. It was always a target, but it was sort of sitting behind some of the other priority areas. But this hole, I think clearly, given that we've encountered both the upper silver zone with excellent grades and the deeper gold zone in this area with exceptional grades. So this area now clearly gets upgraded for us, obviously has a potential to continue to add high-grade mineralization beyond the eastern portion of that Oculto pit. And so, yeah, I think what's important to point out as well is not only the grades, but in terms of the gold mineralization, when you look at it, I think it was about 324 meters downhole depth, but in terms of elevation, it's actually only 200 meters from surface due to the topography out in that portion. So very accessible from an open pit perspective. Obviously at those grades, phenomenal economics would be associated. So yeah, no, I'd say all in all, high grade result here, but it continues to highlight, I'd say, the truly exceptional exploration upside we have now across multiple areas all across Diablillos. And so, yeah, again, overall, really shaping up to be another very, very exciting year on the exploration side of things for us.
So, Dave, let's get you in here to talk about the new focus on this Oculto East area. What past work has been done in this eastern portion outside of this drill hole that we just saw today?
If you wind the clock back 3 years, we were focusing on this Oculto East area because the center of the mineralized system, this high sulfidation epithermal system, has gold and silver in the center and moves out on the peripheries to silver only. So we were focusing on Oculto East, expanding that area towards the east, when we discovered Jack. And when we discovered that fabulous hole at Jack, we dropped everything at Oculto East and we moved across to Jack because it's shallow and it's easy to mine and it's covered by unconsolidated colluvium. So economically, it made sense to see how big Jack was. We've done that, and we've gone back to the old concept of Oculto East. And the good thing about Oculto East, about this hole, is that, as John just mentioned, the entire system is moving, is being discovered towards the east. In other words, we have the upper enriched silver zone, and beneath that we have the deeper gold zone, all strong and moving to the east. So we think that there's from previous work that has been done and from the recent geological mapping that we carried out in order to site drill holes, the structural mapping, we now are very confident that we're going to be moving the zones of mineralization towards the east and expanding the open pit wall towards the east.
Well, Dave, just to that point, we've also talked a little bit about the new discovery you've made at Sombra, and I'll attach a image here so that people listening in can see where these targets are. But if you look at where Sombra is and then you look up to Oculto East, you've made the point that this could be a whole parallel trend here. So is there an initiative to also drill between these two targets, the Sombra and the Oculto East area, and start filling that in as you continue on with the Phase 5 drill program?
We have a program for that, yes, and it's a question of priorities. We've got the two priorities now. Finalizing Jack. We want to see how far Jack goes. So we've decided to do a 150-meter step-out hole, a line of step-out holes, to see whether or not Jack goes that far. And based on that, we will rearrange our priorities. We'll either carry on at Jack or we'll move everything across to, of course, the priority has to be right now, Oculto East. But we're not going to drop Sombra and leave it in the shade. We've got a plan to expand it up towards what was called Serabaya, which is Oculto East. And in actual fact, it's becoming quite interesting because we thought it might be a narrow east-northeast trending zone, but it's turning out to be quite broad. Now, we haven't hit really high grade. We've got up to 100 grams of a ton or more of silver, but we've got a bit of gold on top of it. Now we're scratching our heads to try and figure out what that means, because that's very shallow gold. I won't go into the details, but yes, you're right. It may connect directly north to Oculto, and it may extend all the way up to Serabaya or Oculto East. It's a very interesting area. It's becoming more interesting as we drill. But we really are now very anxious to carry on drilling around this hole 24 at Oculto East, where we've got this fabulous intercept. We've got holes planned. We'll be in the field in a few days, and we'll be walking around and deciding where to drill next.
Dave, I just want to squeeze in one more question with you here. You had mentioned that at the periphery of any of these areas in the Diablillos project that you see the silver, but not so much the gold. So with this new hole showing the gold at depth, and you said that, hey, that kind of tells you you're in the meat of the action still. How far out could you step out, or what, based on the gold grade you're seeing here, which is pretty high grade, what would you imagine the step outs would need to be to test the perimeter now based on this new understanding that you're still in the thick of it here at Oculto East?
Oculto, the center of Oculto is regarded as being the center of the system. That's directly beneath that is supposed to be the progenitor intrusive that generated all the fluids that did the mineralization. The margin of Jack is 1.5 kilometers from the center of Oculto. So there's no reason why it shouldn't go the same distance towards the northeast. The topography changes and the host rocks change as well. And whereas the majority of the mineralization in the Jack area is in andesites, shallow andesites, that intercept that we've just got in the hole 24, the 30 meters of 10 grams, is actually in the basement. It's a granitoid basement. So the intrusive fluids don't respect the rock type, which is good. So we anticipate that it's going to be, there's no reason why it shouldn't be another kilometer, but I don't want to start arm waving too much. We've got to find the damn stuff first.
Dave, could you run a couple programs in tandem here then? If you have this many targets, you guys aren't short for cash. Why not maybe bring in a couple other rigs and drill multiple targets here?
Well, actually, we were just talking about that. I just met up with Gonzalo, our project manager there, and we were just talking about that this afternoon. We should bring in another rig now because we have too many targets.
It's a good problem to have, guys. John, I would just also want to ask you, I know you've got a resource coming up to date soon, but it's still a couple months away. Could a hole like what you just put out here at Oculto East still make it in the cut, or how are you looking as far as where the cutoff is for the resources?
Yeah, no, great question. I think, when we had our previous press release a few weeks ago, end of April, so that was the official end of phase 4, and all those results were going to be incorporated into the resource update. But yeah, I think we can likely sneak this hole into that resource update as well and not really delay the timing of that. So I expect the resource update is still going to come out in July sometime here. But yeah, I think we'll likely incorporate this result, even though it's from phase 5. It came just in the nick of time here for us to be included in that resource update. But really, I think that's sort of the final hole that will get incorporated into the resource update. Anything that we're drilling now, of course, is additional upside. So yeah, we really feel confident this resource update's going to show a lot of growth. Obviously, over the past year now, all of phase 4 have been very successful. But now Oculto East again, Sombra, the Cerro Viejo target. We have multiple targets. So we have 3 rigs at site, and yeah, certainly, again, no shortage of targets here. So we'll certainly see if it makes sense to add another rig or not. But it's great. The more we drill, the more we're growing this deposit in multiple directions. So very, very promising.
Just remind everybody then, John, timing of that updated resource and how many new meters are going into it on top of what you had already drilled.
So it'll be July, so timing shouldn't change. So we had said mid 2025, and yeah, I think we're a couple months away from finalizing that. So yeah, still mid 2025, no change there. Phase 4 was just over 21,000 meters, so we'll incorporate all 21,000 meters, and then plus, this whole likely. So yeah, it's not a huge change. It's just we'll likely incorporate this hole, given those grades. Obviously, the fact that you can extend the Oculto East slightly to the eastern portion of the pit makes sense to incorporate that into the resource. So yeah, I think it's great. The timing of this hole, that it was the start of phase 5 that we drilled this, and now we can reflect that. But yeah, as I mentioned, there's still obviously this whole new target area that we're going to be drilling going forward, and that's for future growth.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there for today, guys. But it was great to get this update on this really 300-gram meter hole at the project for gold, but also high silver values, showing that the Oculto East target continuing to grow, leading more credence to more follow-up. This hole will make it in, saved by the bell here to get into the resource update that's coming in July. And then obviously a lot of drilling on tap from the Phase 5 drill program. So I'm sure we'll be talking quite often, gentlemen. And so Dave, John, great to have you on the show as always, and looking forward to our next conversation.
Our pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Shad, Corey.